Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, it's your boy Vic Shalane Hope, and I got another video for y'all. I know a lot of people got a short attention span, but I would like for you to stay to the end of this video, especially if you're a man. This is very, very, very important, right? It's a lot of things that are going on, taking place, that have been taking place for some decades now. And it's only getting worse, and we need to get right before we are eradicated, right? On some real stuff, right? Now I'm gonna talk to you about the white man's greatest weapon against us, right, in our communities. But before I even get into that, I want to say this: my channel is geared towards helping young men or older men in general, figure things out in society, right? I want you to come here, experience my content, engage with my content in a way where it's like, we can share pointers with each other that will help us become better men, right? So when I share my stories about pain, about suffering, incarceration, or whatever, it's not for amusement. Like, it's cool. I say stuff in a joking way. We get to laugh and kiki about it, but like, it's not for amusement predominantly, man. It's me sharing stories that have shaped me, that have changed my trajectory, and have taught me wisdoms and lessons, right? And we all got our stories. You got your stories. Everybody got their stories that we could all benefit from and learn from. So take them as that, right? Before I even get into the video, click in the description or the link below. So if you want to purchase my book, Who Profits When Black Men Gangbang, also is a link to the documentary I'm in, Who Came to Heal. We Came to Heal. It's a very insightful documentary. A lot of us need healing in our communities, right? So make sure you check that out. So boom, the greatest weapon that the white man has in our communities is the black woman, right? And again, this ain't no black woman bashing channel either. Even though some of them take it as if, when you start to highlight certain things, like I made a video, they're gonna use certain things like you don't like them, you hate them, etc., right? To try to deflect what is being said. But like I said, I'm not really concerned about that. I'm talking to you, brothers. We know how we engage and how we communicate with one another. So yes, at some point in time, the man figured out that the black woman, they were our nucleus for a long time, right? They were like the spine of the movement, right? The brothers was valiant, they was courageous, they was out here fighting for the community overall, but like their women were a lot of like the healers, right? They were like the backbone, the nucleus, right? They supported a lot, because we need each other at the end of the day. So somewhere along the line, our sisters we both have gotten lost, right? But they realized that the reason for our strength was because we care deeply about our women. We try to do a lot of the things that we were doing, right? Because we care deeply about our community, our women, our children. So they figure out different way to attack us, right? It wasn't enough for them to just kill us and incarcerate us. And, you could physically do that. But if you could morally derail somebody, if you could mentally derail somebody, if you could take the nucleus out of the community, then you will have way much more success. If you can figure out a way for these women to raise weak men, they have won half the battle, right? If you figure out a way on how you can manipulate the minds of the caretakers that are supposed to be raising these young, strong men, right? Children, whether you're in a two-parent household, right? If you're in a two-parent household, the moms still are the main caregivers, right? So it's very, very important. So if you brainwash the caregiver to a point where now she's feeding brainwashed things to her children, you're contributing. It's easy to take over that society or that nation or that tribe, right? So anyway, and again, like I said, this is not about the women, but brothers, we are on the verge. We got some serious issues, brothers. We got some serious issues because now there's a big conflict, right? They played on the emotion. You see, these people are master manipulators, right? of the sciences, especially psychology, right? They are very good at psychological warfare. Now, let me say this before I get into my other part. There's no issue, there's not a problem that our sisters are starting to get education or are going to school. That's not a problem, right? There's not an issue that our sisters start working, that they're making money. That's not an issue. That shouldn't be an issue. There's not an issue that perhaps some of them may be making more than some brothers. That's not the problem. They trying to act like we upset that we want dumb people, that we want women that don't work, women that we can control. No, our women have never been that way. They have always been there with us. Women have never had this chance of, they just stayed in the house. They always been there with us, fighting with us, struggling with us, right? The issue is the interpretation that they make as to why they're going to school more, as to why they are making the money that they're making, and the lack of respect that they develop because they have reduced man to his wallet size. This is the issue. Our sisters have been brainwashed in school. Look, and you don't got to take my word. Just pay attention. Some of the sisters that are the most adverse, some of the sisters that are the most problematic or the most misandrous, the most man-hating, are the ones that have the higher educational degrees. You don't got to take it from me. I want you to pay attention to the chicks you engage with, right? Pay attention to the women you engage with. And this has been my experience, and I've been in all different type of spaces. The sisters with the more college education or university education are the ones that have the most contempt towards you. And it is all based on the curriculum that they're being taught in schools. It is all based on how they're psychologically manipulating them. They're using their emotions against them. They're using, like, there's a lot of things our sisters have gone through. So they managed to get into their minds and somehow, some way tell them that it is the black man's fault that they are in the situations that they were in, or that they were in the pain that they were in. They managed to get that into their heads, and they managed to, for some way, somehow made them forget that they were black. And now they think it's a problem between men and women, when in reality is, I had a sister tell me the other day, this is not a problem about black or white, it's a problem about men and women. And I was just like, you know, but like I said, like, I try to keep myself cool, right? I try not to argue with these people, right? And that's another thing I'm going to get into the video. But anyway, brothers, they have managed to do a good job at separating the nucleus from the community, from the rest of the community. Now we are at odds. Now we are fighting all the time. We are beefing. You see it all over the internet. There's a lot of issues in our community, and there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame going forward. But to the brothers, we need to get our act together, bro. On some real stuff. We need to get our act together. It is not our fault that we was born. It is not our fault that we was even brought to this earth. It is not our fault that our mothers made poor choices on the man they slept with, right? It is not our fault that our fathers abandoned us. It is not our fault that we grew up in ghettos, in certain communities, that we had to struggle to eat, struggle to protect ourselves. It is not our fault. None of those things is our fault. Do not take it personal. Do not take it personal. But it is our responsibility to heal, man. Whether it's mommy issues, daddy issues, masculinity issues, whatever it is, whatever we struggling with, we need to do some deep self-reflecting, brother, or we not going to be around. We not going to be around. We already at odds with one another. We already don't like each other. We already mad catty like our mamas, mad emotional. You know what I'm saying? Don't trust each other. We already got a lot of sicknesses in our hearts. And then on top of that, you got these angry sisters that think we're the reason for majority of their suffering. When we was getting our head kicked in too. When we was getting violated too. For some reason, some way, they manage to do a good job at making them believe that it is our fault. So you got to understand, we need to have each other. These sisters are coming for blood. Like I said, like we are the reason for their suffering. I'm not here to even argue with them, so don't even bother, please. Don't come in here and ruining what I got going on. I'm trying to talk to the brothers right now. They think we are the reason for their suffering, and they out for blood. They're really, college campuses is actually breathing misandrous. I've been in them classrooms. I literally sat there and see what, they rarely even teach about misandry in college. Everything's about misogyny. So brothers, I'm trying to tell you, man, they have created this narrative that the women are at the bottom of the bottom and that all the men are at the top of the top, when it's not true. It's a small percentage of men that are usually white men that control damn near everything, and they try to make it seem as if it's the white man and the black man together like peanut butter and jelly at the top controlling what happens. That is not the truth. That is so far from the truth. It is not black and white man and the Indian and the Asian at the top creating everything that goes on. It is white men. We know that. They know that. Well, whatever they know. We know that, brother, but we gotta, listen, we gotta understand this. They have a lot of misplaced anger, just like some of us. We got a lot of misplaced anger towards one another. We keep looking at each other, bro. We keep looking at each other like we are the reason for our suffering. Of course, things have happened on the block. Of course, people have died. But a lot of those things, we are in a lot of those situations because of where we have been placed. And I'm not trying to preach to you, bro. But if we don't open up, if we don't wake up and see what's going on, if we do not wake up and see what's going on, bro, we're going to be gone. We're going to be gone. And back to the point that I was making, they have made a scene, they have created this picture that our women is at the bottom of the bottom, when that is so far from the truth. So men lead in a whole bunch of categories. Bro, if you look at homelessness rates, most of the people that are homeless are men. Right? They'll say children in some cases, right? But most of the people that are homeless that struggle to get homes are men. Men. Right? Most of the people who are unemployed are men. Most of the people who are impacted by incarceration are men. Most of the people who are victims of crimes are men. Victims of violent crimes are men. Most of the people that get killed in our communities are men. Most of the people committing suicide in our community are men. Like men lead in so many different categories, and we don't even have numbers for sexual assault because men don't even feel comfortable talking about that. They don't even have spaces to be able to talk about that. So we can't even talk about that. So we don't even really know the numbers. We don't even really know the numbers. It's so many categories that men are leading in. But you know what happens? They have created this agenda, this idea that somehow our sisters is still at the bottom, even though men are leading in all of these categories. So what that means is, because it's not being highlighted or it's not being presented how it really is, there's a lack of resources being poured into those areas for men. I went myself to a shelter system, and the housing coordinator told me himself, he said, bro, I'm not gonna hold you. They're not really helping men get places here. You know, all the housing that comes about is gonna be geared towards women, right, with children, or women that say that they had a domestic situation. And I say because I don't even heard women tell other women like, yo, just tell them you had a DV situation so you could get housing, right? So I don't, like, there's a lot of schemes. There's a lot of like resources being poured in. It's almost like when it's almost like when the thing happened, when they inflate numbers Same thing happened with the opioid stuff, right? And I don't want to talk too much about that because YouTube be acting a little weird. But it's just like there was a crack epidemic, and when the crack epidemic happened, there wasn't a lot of resources, right? It was more criminalization, right? There wasn't a lot of resources. The numbers wasn't being highlighted, so a lot of stuff that wasn't getting poured into the community that needed it. Now, when a different community had a different issue, right, you swell up the numbers so that there's a lot of money going into that cause, right, so that people could get the adequate help. So it's the same thing, right? Right now we're having these conversations about who at the bottom, who got the worst, who got what, and the reality is that the men are being eclipsed. Men need a lot of help. They need a lot of support. They need a lot of things, right? And the proper channels are not funneling the stuff, because why would they want us to help ourselves? Why would they want us? And I'm not saying this as a crutch, because at the end of the day, we get together, we can do away with all that stuff. If we stop looking at each other like we adversaries and really look at how they have turned our sisters against us, how they are constantly organizing against us, right? That's what they're doing. If you're not paying attention, that's what's happening. They are organizing our sisters against us. Literally. They literally in college campuses organizing against brothers. It's not all of them. It's not all of them, but this is what is going on out there. Now, the smart sisters, they see what's going on. They see they're trying to pin them. They're trying to pin us against each other. They know that makes us weaker. They know that creates a lot of issues. And that's what's happening. So because they're doing that, a lot of sisters is way more comfortable now having children on their own. And again, we know how the trickle-down effect affects men in our community, right? A lot of these sisters are giving birth to boys, and they really don't like men. They hate men. And that energy displays itself when they're raising their boys. It comes out. They can't help it. It comes out. They be hating their boys. They be hating their daughters too. That comes out too. This is why. So this is the trickle down effect, right? They hate their sons because sometimes the sons be looking like the dad. They really hate men. But like I mentioned before, sometimes some of them don't have no direction, and the only direction that they get is once they have a child. So they have this child. It gives them a sense of direction, right? It gives them a sense of wanting to live, wanting to fight, right? But then what happens in those dynamics in those households sometimes is, boom, they grow up with this competition mindset with the daughter, right? They end up hating their daughters, right? The daughters move out quickly, and which in turn helps them even develop a further independent mindset, right? Because their mama was a single mom, or their mama never really had a man, or their mama preached independence, right? Preach independence. And it's crazy how some of these chicks be preaching independence with government programs. Like, how are you preaching independence with government program? Anyway, let me not get sidetracked. But look, the trickle down effect. They raise young boys. They don't like their dads. They really hate men, right? They raise their boys a certain way, right? Weak men, right? They raise, I don't want to say weak women. They raise semi-strong women, right? But to the point that they don't even know how to operate in a symbiotic environment with a man, because their mamas never did that. So they never even got that example. So we both growing up, so young boys are growing up not seeing an environment of a mom and a dad. Young women are growing up not seeing an environment of a mom and a dad, right? So we both out here trying to figure it out. And then we having these masculinity issues. We can't even reclaim our throne. We can't even reclaim our neighborhoods. And again, this is not to put blame on the brothers. We gotta, I'm breaking this down to the brothers. We need to get ourselves together, homie. Or we gonna be gone. We need to get ourselves together. We need to stop giving our power away. We need to stop giving our power away. Okay? Stop giving your power away. Your life force is just part of it. But stop giving your power away. Stop negotiating your masculinity, homie. And if you're struggling with it, bro, get help. Get with some people in certain places, man. Get some mentors. Not the dudes on the block. Get men that is actually doing stuff, that's getting things done. Hang around men that you see yourself being in that. And if the man that you see yourself being is a gangbanger and a thug, then go hang out by the liquor store. Go waste your life away. Go be like your daddy that your mama chose to have a kid with. Because that's the footsteps that a lot of y'all following. A lot of these chicks had children with degenerate men, right? That they claim they lied to them. They ain't lied to them. They just like the thugs. They like the degenerate boys. And then the cycle repeats because you become one of them degenerate boys. You be out there in front of the liquor store or just trying to talk to every chick that walk past. So if that's the man you look up to, that's the man you want to be like, that's the man that motivates you, go hang out by the liquor store. Now for the other brothers, you might be there right now. But if you know deep down, like, I don't want to be hanging, like, what am I doing? Bro, all it takes is one day. All it takes is one day for you to be like, you know what? I don't want to drink no more. I don't want to be in front of the liquor store no more. Like, you got to get to the point where you fed up with your lifestyle. You got to get to the point where you hate, like, you literally, like, yo, I used to wake up in prison and I hated it. Every single day, I hated it. And then I'm hearing other dudes talking about, oh, that jail was sweet. Man, they had trailers over there. You know, the COs was looking nice over there. Like, yo, the yard, they had all the weights. They had, like, I'm literally listening to men disgusted. Like, what do you mean the jail was cool? It was a sweet spot. What do you mean? These ain't dudes that's never going home. These ain't dudes that got 40 to life or some crazy stuff. These is dudes that got a release date. Talking about the jail was sweet, the COs looked nice, the yard, the weights, the food in the commissary was good. Like, this is what these dudes was. I never wanted to be that guy. This is how much you gotta hate it. You gotta, at some point, you gotta get like, yo, I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of having to live. I'm tired of having to be putting in, like, things in a woman's name because I don't got credit or I owe money. I'm tired of, like, I gotta crash in some woman's couch. Or I'm tired of, like, yo, I gotta ask my mom for money. Or I gotta ask some chick for money. Like, at some point, you gotta be like, I'm tired of that. I don't got my own money. I don't got my own job. I don't got my own place. Like, where am I headed? At some point, you have to feel like, yo, I don't want to live like this no more. The only difference is that some of our sisters, they use our children, right? They get pregnant. They know what they be doing. They be trying to act like, oh, he bamboozled me. And, you know, I got pregnant. I don't believe in abortion. And, you know, so, like, I just kept the kid. They know what they be doing. A lot of them don't be having no sense of direction either. And the kids be that. But because a lot of times we're not in charge of the children. A lot of times we're not in custody of the children, right? It's not the same drive. Because that can motivate us to a certain extent. But then there's another fight. Then we got to fight with the courts and the custody and the this and the that. But the point is, you got to find something that motivates you. For a lot of these chicks, it might be their children. We got to find what motivates us, bro. We out here walking around operating like we neuter, like we ain't got no power. We got power, homie. We got power. I know a lot of us been crippled because of how we was raised, and we was raised without a man. But like I keep telling you, nobody cares about your sad story, homie, especially for men. Nobody care about our story. Nobody care about our pain. Nobody care about what we go through. You got to always remember that. And when you remember that, don't say F it. Don't go out there and make the streets bleed because you bleeding. You don't got to go out there and harm nobody because you don't know how to channel your energy because you were never taught how to. It's not too late, man. You're alive. Go get up. Go get. If you don't believe in God, man, you better get with a God, man. God grounded me a lot, man. I needed to get grounded. I didn't know where I was going. And God grounded me. And I had to grow up being a man in prison. I had to be around other older men that was giving me jewels, that was giving me life lessons, that was teaching me. Okay? That's what I had to do. I had to realize that I had to get around certain men to teach me certain things, to help me walk through this thing called life. And I don't got it down packed. I'm still struggling. For a long time I was raised a certain way. But even I've been in the streets for, my mom allowed me to go out from a very young age, right? I was out. But it's a process, man. It's a process. And I'm telling you, brothers, It's war out there, and we don't gotta fight the war they fighting. We don't gotta argue with them. We don't gotta fight with them. We don't gotta try to prove nothing to them. We just gotta get ourselves together. We gotta get our kingdom in order. Stop arguing with them. Stop wasting that energy. And stop giving them your seed, man. You literally giving them life. You giving them life. Your sperm got nutrients. It got minerals. Even when they eat that stuff, it's helping them. I'm sorry about that. But it has nutrients. Minerals. Brothers, we got to reclaim our power, man. When we do that, when we get right, don't let nobody play with you, homie. Don't let nobody play with you. And we got to stop looking at our brothers that are struggling just like us as adversaries. Get around some men that could teach you some lessons, man. Teach you something valuable, right? Get around some brothers that you kind of like see yourself heading in their direction, or you would like to. If you don't know where to start, bro, there's a lot of events on Eventbrite. You can look up events for entrepreneurs. You can look up events for all type of stuff that you're trying to get into. Musicians, poetry. Like you can look up, bro. There's so much stuff out there in the world, homie. So much stuff out there in the world. You could look up events, bro. Free events. You can look stuff up. Where there's people, there's business workshops. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's be going on, man. There's a lot of information out there, man. Get around some people. Get around some mentors. Get around some good people, man. Because if we don't, bro, we're going to be gone, bro. We're going to be gone. We're going to continue to be crippled. We're going to continue to be in situations that do not benefit us. And we're going to continue to be overlooked and eclipsed. That's what's going to continue to happen. We can't depend on them to restore the community. We cannot. We cannot depend on them to restore the community. And we don't got time to be sitting here and trying to negotiate with terrorists. Look to yourself, bro. Look to yourself. Figure it out. Get with bros that are doing certain things. Some brothers will help you, homie. Some brothers will help you. But we got to fight. We got to fight. We got to get educated about what's really going on and tackle the resources that are out there, bro. And don't listen to the internet stuff, man. Yo, the internet is probably like the worst thing you could do right now. Don't get on the internet and be arguing, going back and forth and doing all of that weird stuff. Do not do that, man. Do not engage. Use that energy for something else. Use that energy to get direction. Because if you don't get direction, I'm tell you what happens a lot with our young boys. We don't get a sense of direction, and we be like this. We be going everywhere. We going this way. We go that way. We distract ourselves in pleasures. Dudes do that all the time because they don't have no sense of directions. And when you don't have no sense of direction or where you going, you're gonna die. You're gonna distract yourself in all the things that are pleasurable out here. They have always used our sisters, man, against us. They use Eve against Adam. That's one of the first lessons in the book, man. They use Eve against Adam. They always do that. If you from the street, you know what's up. How many times have they use women to line men up? Because they know we love sex, bro. They know we love our women. They know we like women. They know we got a little sore spot for women. So we put our guard down. You know, we like to be in their vicinity. You know, we like to vibe with them. We like to chill with them. Come on, you know. So they use them. Come on, this has been a tactic for a long time. They seduce our women. They use the women that, yeah, go. You know what I'm saying? Line son up. Come on, we seen this as the biblical, man. They use Eve against Adam. Like, yeah, take this apple to him. You don't get him bite the apple, you know. He ain't gonna listen to me. But you know what I'm saying? I know you could get him. It happens all the time. How many times girls come around, they get dudes to start pillow talking and telling all the secrets? Happens all the time. Happens all the time. So we should not be surprised, homie. The only difference now, it's no seduction tactic to get you. In some cases it is, and you got to be wary of that too, because they seducing dudes and they getting them jammed up with the capital R. But look, what I'm saying is this, brothers, they're using them against us. We got to be smarter. We got to lower our gaze. You know, we gotta tighten up. We gotta be a little more disciplined. And I know it's hard because, especially when you've been living like that for a long time, but we have to do it. We have to do it. We have to get whatever help we can get to get to that place. But let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comment section. I know it's a little lengthy video. If you stay here this whole time, let me know in the comment section that you watched the whole video. Stay blessed. Peace.